Well, welcome to Oakland. How y'all doing? All right, well that's good. Now let me start by asking you a question. How many of y'all are football fans? Just a little one? Well, if not, surely you've heard of the Heisman Trophy. It's given every year to an outstanding college football player. Well, my name is Evelynn Heisman, and I never cared a lick about football until I met and married the man who would become the famous coach, John Heisman. Now, he wasn't famous when I met him, but he was a deliciously fine specimen of a man. Who knew that our love affair would lead to a contentious divorce in which I defeated the undefeatable Coach Heisman. But more about that in a minute. Now, when I met John, I was an actress. I was born with a flair for the dramatic right here in Georgia in 1870, and my family was infamous. My father was Benjamin McCullum, a reckless, violent man. He served with the Confederacy in the Second Battle of Big Shanty up by Kennesaw Mountain. Then he formed a vicious gang called McCullum Scouts near Canton, who robbed Union Loyalists and Confederate families indiscriminately, sometimes even killing them. These vigilantes were so fierce that Sherman actually burnt down most of Canton in retaliation. Even after the war, Father was dangerously reckless. He was eventually shot and killed in an argument over a brothel. Now you may ask how a girl from such a family and an actress married a man like John. He was a good stock, and he was a college man. He began his career at Oberlin in Ohio, but he ended up at Clemson University in South Carolina, and that's where we met. You see, at Clemson, John was the sports coach, but he was also the theater director. Did you know John was an accomplished actor? Well, you shouldn't be surprised. His coaching was so theatrical. His games were like great plays filled with suspense, trickery, and usually tragedy for the other team. Now, at the time, I was known for playing ingenues, delicate flowers and sweet, innocent girls. Ha! I was a 30-year-old widow with a young son, but my charms on and off the stage were legendary. Seems John isn't the only one that could craft a game plan. I chased him like a running back going for a touchdown until he fell madly in love with me. Our sudden marriage surprised everyone except me. Now, that same year, John was hired as coach at Georgia Tech. Any Tech fans here? They're all so quiet. But Tech stole him away after Clemson beat them 73-0. Tech offered us a whopping $2,250 a year plus 30% of net receipts. So it was goodbye Clemson. Hello, Atlanta. Those Tech years were the finest of John's career. He was a winning machine. He could do nothing wrong. Every night I was dressed up for some party or event. Our life was all parades and accolades. He even ended up in the Guinness Book of World Records in 1916 for winning the most lopsided football game in college history. 222-0 against Cumberland College. My goodness indeed. Our marriage, however, was a less predictable sport. Now, we were both driven by the excitement of opening nights and the roar of the crowd on the football field, but perhaps we were less suited for the demands of domestic life. We fought like opposing teams in a tag game. Now, he always won on the field, but on our home turf, I was a worthy adversary. After 16 years, we ended our marriage in a skirmish worthy of the Bulldogs versus Georgia Tech. And guess who came out on top? Now, divorce itself was scandalous in those days, but it was the consequences of our divorce that made it positively shocking. You see, John decided to leave Atlanta. Well, You football fans know he went to the University of Pennsylvania. This rocked the sports world, and fans all over Georgia were furious with me because in our divorce agreement, I stipulated that he would never, ever live in the same city as I did. And Atlanta was mine. I was determined to stay here, mostly just to aggravate John. Of course, the city of Atlanta was as mad as a hornet, or a yellow jacket, if you will. I didn't care a lick. Somebody had to show that man that winning comes in all shapes and sizes, not just linebackers and tight ends. Now, despite my notoriety, I continued to live the good life right here in Atlanta until my death in 1926. And I kept the Heisman name. Now, some people say that I did that just to annoy John. This is absolutely false. His annoyance is simply a happy coincidence. Now, y'all are a great crowd, and it has been a pleasure having y'all here tonight. I know who your next stop is, and he has quite a tale to tell. Y'all enjoy your evening. Good night.